Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you had a really lovely week. I'm going to tell you today about the things I do daily, my daily habits that help me to feel healthier, more motivated, more productive and just generally feel better. What I'm going to talk to you about is going to be time stamped on the screen, and I will put it in a pinned comment below as well, just so you can skip through any of them if you want to. None of these are going to be particularly revolutionary, but I think a lot of the time it's easy to look for that magic bullet and something that's really going to
change my life, and I'm going to be infinitely better if I do this one thing.
And actually what you end up realising, I think, is that the basics are basic and fundamental for a reason, and that's because if you absolutely nail those, generally everything else kind of falls into place. And also I've read a few books on habit formation, and actually what a lot of them say is that if you've got some habits that you already have in your life, one of the easiest things to do to build new habits is to tack them on to old habits. I say old habits, but habits that you already have that are well established. So chances are, if you get some of the simple stuff right, you can start building on that and really start to build yourself some really solid, healthy but sustainable habits as well. So here we go. Number one, my first tip or first habit is drinking water. I'm definitely not perfect at this, and if you saw my New Year's resolution video or my Gymshark 66 post, you'll know that that's one of the things I am trying to work on at the moment, and I've already failed. I've only been doing it for 12 days, and I've already had days where I haven't met my water target. But that's one of the reasons that I'm putting it as something that I want to try and focus on, is I really want to solidify that habit. I find it much easier to do when I'm in a routine, so generally on weekdays where I'm working I won't struggle to drink enough water, and at the weekends is when I really just forget. But I do find that my skin is a bit healthier and I just feel a bit more awake when I'm drinking lots of water. And I personally try and aim for about 2.5 litres of water a day. That doesn't include tea and coffee, so it is just 2.5 litres of pure water. I do flavour it sometimes, but I would just say that if you are going to try and increase your water intake, don't base it off what I've said, and just do it a bit by bit, because otherwise you'll feel like you're in the toilet every 5 seconds and it won't be fun for you. My second habit is to try and eat fruit and veg daily. Now obviously I eat more than one portion of each every single day, but I do try and eat a decent amount of fruit and veg every day, especially greens. I'm not going to sit here and try and convince you that fruit and veg is a good thing for you to eat, because every dietitian, nutritionist, health website, health board, health agency that's ever existed is almost certainly going to tell you that fruits and vegetables are things that we should all be including in our diet daily. But every meal I eat, or certainly while I was trying to build this habit, every meal I ate I would look at and go, how can I add some fruit or some veg to this meal? Now I'm not sitting here to tell you to go and put spinach in your porridge every single day, but you can add bananas or dried fruit or dates or apple to your porridge or anything else. So I am pretty good at consistently eating fruit and veg every day. It makes up a good portion of my diet, and I'm quite good at actually centering my meals around vegetables or fruit. But I definitely notice when I don't do this consistently enough. So if I'm on holiday or if I'm just away from home a lot, I definitely feel worse for it. So if it's something that you're not doing consistently, just try, even if it's just one more portion a day. Number 3 is to do some exercise every day. Literally anything. Go for a walk, go for a jog, do some HIIT, do some yoga, do some stretching. Literally anything. I try and do something active every day, and something consciously active. So I don't mean, because you actually are quite active even when you're just tidying up around the house or cleaning, or maybe you've got an active job. I haven't, but I try and do something specifically active every day. I've only been consistent with this probably in the last 6 months, but I am now pretty good at making sure I'm doing something every day, even if I just go for a slightly longer walk. And it might be nocebo effect, but again, I definitely notice days where I don't do this, that I do feel really lethargic by the end of the day. And I'm sure some of that's probably psychological as well, but I definitely notice when I don't do this. And the last thing I try and do, especially on work days, but I could probably be a bit better at doing it at the weekend, is I make a point of getting dressed. I've been working from home full time since March, as I'm sure a lot of people have, and it has taken me a really long time to really find a rhythm with working from home and to feel comfortable and productive while I work from home as well. I do have a pretty solid morning routine now on my work days, but that obviously does have to change because the restrictions of what we can and can't do are changing all the time. But one of the things I do try and stick to is before I start work, I usually do a workout, but then I get showered and I get dressed for the day, and I try and avoid wearing any loungewear, and I try and avoid wearing jogging bottoms. I do let myself some days because sometimes I just can't face the idea of putting jeans on, but I do notice a massive shift in my mental state and how motivated and productive I feel on the days where I make a real effort to get dressed and put something semi-respectable on. So those are 4 things that I currently do at least most days, if not every day. Some things I have tried in the past but that I don't necessarily do anymore are things like meditating. I've tried that, I didn't really get on with it, I didn't find it made a huge amount of difference, and I found it really boring, which I know is kind of the point, but it just didn't really work for me. But that's something that a lot of people like. You could try a daily yoga practice or even just a stretching routine, which I am doing at the moment, but I wouldn't really say that I've done it consistently enough to consider it a habit yet, because for me I'd need to do it outside of just like a 30-day challenge for it to really be classed as a habit. But that's something that you could do. Another thing I know a lot of people find value in, I don't personally do, but I have different ways of achieving the same goal, but that is to essentially simulate a morning commute for you. So especially if you started working from home and you find it hard to wind down at the end of the day, one thing that some people suggest is that you take a walk before you start work and take a walk after you finish work, almost as if you are walking to and from work, even though you're walking to and from your house. And that might help you just to get some steps in, which is never a bad thing, but also to really simulate that work commute and help switch your brain on in the morning and switch it off in the evening. Hopefully you found those quick tips useful. Let me know if you've got any specific habits that you implement every day. I'd love to hear about them in the comments. That's all for this video because it's lunchtime and I need to get back to work and I need to eat. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you found any of the tips useful. I hope you have a really lovely week and I will see you on Sunday.